All right, week 7 college football breakdown here. Moving to Saturday afternoon, a really interesting ranked matchup in the ACC with a little bit of a twist to it now with some injury news. Got North Carolina State traveling to the Carrier Dome and taking on the undefeated Syracuse Orangemen. Syracuse at home, 3.5-point favorite. Very low total at 42, and we're going to get to that right away. Devin Leary, quarterback for North Carolina State, left last week's game against Florida State. If you watched that game, you saw NC State have to turn towards Jack Chambers. I mean, listen, Jack Chambers did play at Charleston Southern quite a bit. Didn't put up great numbers there. I'm interested to know why exactly Dave Doran took him in the transfer portal, because he obviously has no confidence in his backup quarterback. He threw the ball just one time down the stretch of that game. NC State really had to revert to a run-only attack and really had to rely on their defense. Now, it worked, but Devin Leary is going to be out of this game. Dave Doran pulled the classic, he could be back this week, could be back in 6 weeks. You know what that means? That means he's not playing this week. This line would not be at 3.5. If he was, I feel like the odds makers have a pretty good feel about that, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that Devin Leary is not playing in this football game. So, NC State really is probably going to have to, pull that same tactic that they did last week. I don't think Dave Doran's going to want to put the game in the arm of Jack Chambers. The problem is, and I think we saw it a little bit, they've never been a good running team. I don't really care what they've done in some of their inferior games. The reality of it is when they've stepped up in competition this year, they haven't been able to run the football. This is a matchup where, Syracuse, I didn't have really high expectations for that defense coming into the year, and they've played a pretty weak schedule, but with no Leary, this is another easy matchup for them. The one thing we do know, they've done a pretty good job of limiting explosive plays this year. They're going to make you earn every yard. I think NC State is going to be content, playing this ugly sort of game. And I'll tell you why. They've got a really good defense. They might have I think they have a borderline top 15 defense in the country. And listen, their strength is stopping the run. That's something you have to do facing off with the Syracuse team. Sean Tucker was a guy that broke out onto the scene last year as a true freshman. He's regressed a little bit this year in his sophomore campaign. Obviously, with that, that's not only on him. Part of that's probably on his offensive line. But, Sean Tucker for Syracuse this year has not been as effective as he was as a freshman. The one thing they have gotten, though, Garrett Schrader has been a total surprise in the passing game. Is that really going to translate in this matchup, though? I mean, I'm telling you, this NC State defense, there's really nothing to not like about it. It's really good in their secondary. It's especially good at that linebacking core led by Peyton Wilson. That back seven is really, really stout. The one thing that you could say is they don't really, get after the quarterback in the pass rushing department the way you would like, but I don't really think that's going to, make too big of an impact in this matchup. Syracuse is going to run the ball a lot. And while Garrett Schrader has had some success through the air, his best asset throughout the course of the rest of the season is still probably going to be his legs. And, with this increase in competition, you're not playing Virginia anymore. You're not playing Wagner. To some degree, you're not even playing Purdue. And I think Purdue's defense has been pretty good this year, but this is a step up in competition for Syracuse as well. I think this is going to be a lower scoring game. So this total is adjusted quite a bit to that Devin Leary news. I would have loved to have gotten this, at a better number, because I was thinking at 43.5, 44, and then 43. And then, I'm recording this. It's now at 42. I want to just bite the bullet and still play this because I do feel like I have this read pretty well. I'm recording this on Wednesday night. Haven't locked this in yet. My best look on this game by far is the under. I'll say this as well. The odds makers throwing out a 3.5 on Syracuse gives you a pretty good feel as to how they think NC State's going to adjust to life without Devin Leary. I'll say it. All you got to do is go watch the second half of that Florida State game last week. Dave Doran has zero confidence in Jack Chambers. This is a spot where I think he is content trusting his defense, given how well they do stop the run. This is probably a game where first at 20 wins. I heavily lean towards the under 42 in this game. All right, guys, before we get out of here, I know you see this shirt right here. If you're in the market for some new golf apparel, check out Proud 90 Golf. Unique, very comfortable polos as well. With the cold weather coming, they've also got a great selection of hoodies and quarter zips. If you see anything you like, at proud90.com, use my promo code Fordham at checkout. It's going to get you 15% off your order. Check the description for more information.